If you are watching this video right now, I need you to stop everything you are doing and pay very close attention, because what I am about to tell you could be the difference between retiring wealthy or retiring broke. I am not exaggerating. I have built multiple businesses. I have invested in hundreds of companies. I have made millions of dollars, and I have also lost millions of dollars. I have seen what works and what does not work when it comes to building real lasting wealth. And let me tell you something most investors completely ignore. It is not about how much money you make. It is about how much money you keep. The wealthy understand this. The poor and middle class do not. And that is exactly why they stay poor and middle class. Today, I am going to share with you 5 things that you absolutely must stop buying if you ever want to become financially free. These are not obscure, complicated financial instruments. These are everyday purchases that millions of people make without thinking twice. And these purchases are silently, systematically destroying their ability to build wealth. The market will punish you if you keep making these mistakes. I have seen it happen over and over again. Hardworking people with good incomes who end up with nothing at retirement because they spent their entire lives buying the wrong things. Small investors must watch this carefully, because the financial institutions, the banks, the credit card companies, the marketing departments of major corporations, they are all designed to separate you from your money. That is their job. That is how they make their profits. And unless you understand the game they are playing, you will lose every single time. So let me break this down for you in a way that nobody else will. Let me give you the hard truth that your financial advisor probably will not tell you because they are too busy collecting their fees. Number 1, stop buying brand new cars. This is perhaps the single biggest wealth destroyer in America today, and I cannot believe how many intelligent people fall into this trap. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, when I was first building my businesses, I had an employee who came to work one day in a brand new BMW. Beautiful car, leather seats, all the options. He was so proud of it. He pulled into the parking lot like he had just won the lottery. And I looked at that car and I thought to myself, there goes his retirement. Here is what that employee did not understand. The moment he drove that BMW off the lot, it lost between 15 and 20% of its value. Gone, evaporated into thin air. That is not an investment. That is not building wealth. That is lighting money on fire and watching it burn. A $50,000 car becomes a $40,000 car in the first 60 seconds of ownership. And it does not stop there. Over the next 5 years, that car will lose another 40 to 50% of its remaining value. You are paying $50,000 for something that will be worth maybe $15,000 in 5 years. That is a $35,000 loss. Do you understand what I am saying? You just threw away $35,000 so you could impress strangers at traffic lights who do not care about you? Now let me tell you what smart money does. Smart money buys used cars that are 2 to 3 years old. Let someone else take that massive depreciation hit. Let someone else pay the stupid tax. A 2-year-old BMW with 30,000 miles on it will cost you half of what a new one costs, and it will drive exactly the same. The seats are still leather, the engine still purrs, but you just saved yourself $25,000. And if you take that $25,000 and invest it in a diversified portfolio of quality dividend-paying stocks or a low-cost index fund, and you let it compound for 20 years at an average return of 8%, do you know what that $25,000 becomes? It becomes over $116,000. That is the true cost of buying a new car. You are not just losing the depreciation. You are losing the opportunity cost of what that money could have become. I drive nice cars. I'm not telling you to drive a piece of junk, but I did not start buying new luxury vehicles until I had already built substantial wealth, until I had multiple income streams, until I had investments throwing off cash flow every single month. You have to earn the right to spend money on depreciating assets, and most people have not earned that right yet. They are pretending to be rich while actually becoming poor with every monthly payment. If you see what I see, you will act immediately. Sell the expensive car. Buy something practical. Invest the difference. Your future self will thank you. Number 2, stop buying expensive coffee and daily convenience purchases. I know what you are thinking. Here comes the lecture about lattes. Yes, I'm going to talk about coffee, but not in the way you expect. This is not about deprivation. This is about awareness. This is about understanding where your money actually goes and making conscious decisions instead of sleepwalking through life swiping your credit card. Let me give you some numbers that will shock you. The average American spends between $5 and $7 per day on coffee and snacks from places like Starbucks, Dunkin', convenience stores, and vending machines. That seems harmless, right? It is just a few dollars. But let us do the math. $7 per day multiplied by 365 days per year equals $2,555 per year. Over a 30-year career, that is $76,650. But wait, we are not done because money has time value. If you invested that $2,555 every year into an index fund, earning an average of 8% annually, after 30 years, you would have over $315,000. $315,000. That is what your daily coffee habit is actually costing you. Now, I am not telling you to never enjoy a nice coffee. I drink coffee. I enjoy fine things. But I make my coffee at home most days using a quality machine and quality beans. And it costs me about 50 cents per cup instead of $7. That is a 93% savings. And the coffee tastes better because I control the quality. The point is not to eliminate pleasure from your life. The point is to be intentional about your spending, to understand the true long-term cost of every purchase you make. Every dollar you spend is a soldier that could be fighting for your financial freedom. And when you send that soldier to Starbucks every single day, you are sending it to die in a meaningless battle. This applies to all convenience purchases: the chips and soda from the gas station, the vending machine at work, the fast food because you did not plan your meals. These small purchases add up to massive amounts over time, and the truly wealthy understand this. They became wealthy not by earning more than everyone else, but by keeping more than everyone else. They understand that wealth is built in the margins, in the small daily decisions that compound over decades. Let me tell you something most investors ignore. It is not the big purchases that destroy most people financially. It is the death by 1,000 cuts of small, mindless daily spending. Number 3, stop buying things to impress other people. This one cuts deep because it requires you to look honestly at your own motivations. Why did you buy that designer handbag? Why did you buy those expensive shoes? Why did you buy that watch, that jewelry, that outfit? Was it because you truly needed it and it brought genuine value to your life? Or was it because you wanted other people to see it and think you were successful? Here is a hard truth that took me years to fully understand. The people you are trying to impress do not care about you. They are too busy thinking about themselves and trying to impress other people who also do not care. It is a giant circle of people trying to impress each other, and everyone is going broke in the process. This is what I call the status trap, and it is one of the most dangerous psychological forces working against your wealth. Let me tell you about real wealthy people, the actual millionaires and billionaires that I know personally. Most of them do not dress flashy. Most of them do not drive the newest, most expensive cars. Most of them could walk right past you on the street and you would never know they were worth 8 or 9 figures. Because real wealth does not need to prove itself. Real wealth is quiet. Real wealth is confident. Real wealth knows what it is and does not need external validation. The people who are constantly showing off their possessions, their luxury goods, their expensive lifestyles on social media, most of them are either in debt up to their eyeballs or they are influencers getting paid to promote products. Either way, they are not role models for building actual wealth. I want you to start asking yourself a question before every purchase. Am I buying this for me, or am I buying this for the perception of others? If the answer is for others, put your wallet away. WARNS. This behavior will keep you poor forever. It is a bottomless pit because there is always something newer, something more expensive, something more impressive. You will never reach the end. You will never have enough. The only way to win is to stop playing the game entirely. Focus instead on building real assets, stocks that pay dividends, real estate that generates rental income, businesses that create cash flow, index funds that grow over time. These are the things that will actually make you wealthy. Not handbags, not watches, not designer clothes that will be out of style in 2 years. Invest in assets, not in appearances. That is how the wealthy think. That is how you need to start thinking. Number 4, stop buying lottery tickets and gambling. I am going to be very direct about this because someone needs to say it clearly. The lottery is a tax on people who are bad at math. That is all it is. The odds of winning a major lottery jackpot are roughly 1 in 300 million. To put that in perspective, you are more likely to be struck by lightning twice, be attacked by a shark, and become President of the United States all in the same lifetime than you are to win the Powerball. The expected value of a lottery ticket is negative. For every dollar you spend, you can expect to get back about 50 cents. That is a 50% guaranteed loss. No rational investor would ever accept those odds. But here is what really bothers me about the lottery. It preys on the most vulnerable people. Studies consistently show that lower income households spend a significantly higher percentage of their income on lottery tickets than wealthy households. The people who can least afford to lose money are the ones gambling it away on impossible odds. And the lottery commissions know this. They specifically market to low-income neighborhoods. They place lottery retailers in poor communities. They sell the dream of instant wealth to people who desperately need that money for food, rent, and building actual savings. Let me give you the numbers. The average American household spends over $300 per year on lottery tickets. Some households spend thousands. Now, $300 per year does not sound like much. But again, let us apply the time value of money. If you invested $300 per year for 30 years at 8% annual returns, you would have over $37,000. That is real money. That is a down payment on a house. That is a year of college tuition. That is a solid emergency fund, all of it wasted on tickets that have virtually zero chance of paying off. The market will punish you if you do this, because while you are gambling on impossible odds, other people are systematically building wealth through proven strategies, compound interest, dollar cost averaging, diversified portfolios, dividend reinvestment. These are the strategies that actually work. These are the strategies that have created millions of millionaires over the past century, not lottery tickets, not slot machines, not sports betting, not crypto gambling, real, boring, systematic investing over long periods of time. And let me extend this to all forms of gambling. The casinos, the sports books, the online gambling sites, they are all designed mathematically to take your money. The house always wins in the long run. That is not an opinion. That is a mathematical fact. Every game in a casino has a house edge. Over time, over thousands and millions of bets, the house will always come out ahead. That is how they pay for those beautiful buildings, the free drinks, the entertainment, the staff. They are paying for all of it with your losses. If you want to gamble recreationally with money you can afford to lose, that is your choice. But do not pretend it is investing. Do not pretend it is a wealth-building strategy. It is entertainment at best and financial suicide at worst. Number 5, stop buying timeshares and vacation ownership programs. This is one of the biggest financial scams that is somehow still legal in America, and I am constantly amazed at how many intelligent people fall for it. Timeshares are sold through high-pressure sales tactics at vacation resorts. They bring you in with the promise of a free vacation or a free gift. They sit you down in a room for hours. They use every psychological manipulation technique known to man, and at the end you sign a contract agreeing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for the privilege of using a vacation property for 1 week per year, forever, with annual maintenance fees that increase every year and that you cannot escape. Let me break down why timeshares are such a terrible financial decision. First, the upfront cost. The average timeshare costs between $20,000 and $40,000 to purchase. That is a significant amount of money for most families. But here's the thing, that $20,000 does not buy you any actual real estate. You do not own a property. You do not own a piece of land. You own a contract that gives you the right to use a property for 1 week per year. You cannot sell it for a profit. You cannot rent it out easily. You cannot use it as collateral for a loan. It is not an asset. It is a liability. Second, the maintenance fees. The average annual maintenance fee for a timeshare is over $1,000 and increasing every year. These fees are mandatory. You must pay them every single year, whether you use the timeshare or not. And they never go away. They are attached to the contract forever. I have seen maintenance fees double over a 10-year period. So that $1,000 annual fee becomes $2,000, then $3,000. And there is nothing you can do about it except keep paying. Third, the resale market. Timeshares have essentially zero resale value. Go online right now and search for timeshares for sale. You will find thousands of people trying to give away their timeshares for $1. They cannot even give them away because nobody wants to take on the ongoing maintenance fee obligation. Some people actually pay companies thousands of dollars just to take the timeshare off their hands. This is not an investment. This is a financial prison that you are paying tens of thousands of dollars to enter. Small investors must watch this carefully. If you want to take nice vacations, just pay for hotels and rentals when you want to travel. Use points and miles from credit card rewards. Book directly through vacation rental websites. You will have more flexibility, more choices, and you will spend far less money over your lifetime. The math is not even close. A $20,000 timeshare purchase plus $1,000 per year in maintenance fees for 30 years equals $50,000 spent. For that $50,000, you get 30 weeks of vacation in one specific location with limited flexibility. Or you could take that same money, invest it wisely, and use the returns to fund whatever vacations you want, wherever you want, whenever you want. The choice is obvious to anyone who actually runs the numbers. Now let me bring this all together and talk about the bigger picture. Must watch. Everything I have shared with you today comes down to one fundamental principle. Wealth is built by acquiring assets and avoiding liabilities. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. New cars, daily convenience purchases, status symbols, lottery tickets, and timeshares are all liabilities. They take money out of your pocket. They do not generate returns. They do not appreciate in value. They do not create passive income. They just drain your resources day after day, month after month, year after year. The wealthy understand this distinction intuitively. They focus relentlessly on acquiring income-producing assets, dividend-paying stocks, rental real estate, businesses that generate cash flow, bonds that pay interest, index funds that grow over time. They live below their means not because they cannot afford more, but because they understand that every dollar spent on liabilities is a dollar that could be working for them instead. This is the fundamental mindset shift that separates the wealthy from everyone else. I want to talk about the current market environment and why this advice is more important now than ever. We are living in a period of significant economic uncertainty. Inflation has been running hot. Interest rates have been raised aggressively by the Federal Reserve. The stock market has been volatile. Real estate prices have been fluctuating. In this environment, cash management and risk protection are absolutely critical. You cannot afford to be wasting money on the 5 things I have described. You need to be building your cash reserves. You need to be reducing your debt. You need to be positioning your portfolio defensively while still maintaining exposure to quality assets that will compound over time. If you see what I see, you will act immediately. The economic indicators are telling us that we may be heading into a period of slower growth and potential recession. Corporate earnings are under pressure. Consumer spending is showing signs of weakness. The housing market is cooling in many regions. This is not the time to be buying new cars and designer handbags. This is the time to be building your financial fortress, to be accumulating quality assets at discounted prices, to be preparing for opportunities that will emerge when others are forced to sell. Let me give you some practical steps you can take right now. Today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, first, track every dollar you spend for the next 30 days, every single purchase. Write it down or use an app. You will be shocked at where your money is actually going. Most people have no idea. They think they know, but they do not. The data will reveal the truth. Second, identify your biggest money leaks. Look at your spending data and find the categories where you are wasting the most money. For most people, it will be some combination of the 5 things I have talked about today. Third, create a plan to redirect that money into investments. Open a brokerage account if you do not have one. Set up automatic transfers. Start buying quality index funds or dividend-paying stocks. Even small amounts add up dramatically over time thanks to compound interest. Fourth, sell anything you own that is draining your resources without providing real value. That expensive car with the high payment, the timeshare you never use, the subscription services you have forgotten about. Convert these liabilities back into cash and put that cash to work for you. Fifth, change your peer group. This might be the most important step of all. If you are surrounded by people who are constantly spending money on status symbols and trying to impress each other, you will inevitably be pulled into those behaviors. Find people who are focused on building wealth. Join investment clubs. Follow financial educators. Read books about money and investing. Surround yourself with the mindset you want to adopt. I want to address something important before I close. Some people will watch this video and say that I am telling them to never enjoy life, that I am saying they should be miserable and never spend money on anything fun. That is not what I am saying at all. I enjoy nice things. I travel to beautiful places. I eat at great restaurants. I live a very comfortable life. The difference is that I built the assets first. I created the income streams first. I established the wealth first. And now I can afford to spend money on enjoyment without compromising my financial security. That is the order of operations. Build first, spend later. Most people have it backwards. They spend first and hope to build later, and later never comes because they have already spent everything. Do not fall into the trap of immediate gratification. The ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of financial success. Studies have shown this over and over again. People who can resist short-term temptation in favor of long-term goals consistently achieve better outcomes in every area of life, especially finances. Train yourself to think long-term. Train yourself to ask, what is the true cost of this purchase over 20 years? Train yourself to prioritize your future self over your present impulses. The compound effect is the most powerful force in personal finance. Small actions, repeated consistently over long periods of time, produce extraordinary results. A few $100s per month invested consistently will make you a millionaire. A daily coffee habit will cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. The numbers do not lie. The math is simple. The question is whether you will have the discipline to act on what you now know. I have given you the information. I have given you the strategies. I have given you the warnings. Now it is up to you. You can close this video and go back to your old habits and nothing will change, or you can take action today, right now, this minute. You can start tracking your spending. You can start cutting the 5 wealth destroyers I have described. You can start investing the difference in your future. The choice is yours. But remember, time is the one resource you cannot get back. Every day you delay is a day of compound growth you will never recover. Every month you wait is a month of potential wealth lost forever. Let me tell you something most investors ignore. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Not tomorrow, not next month, not after your next raise. Today. Whatever amount you can start with it. The habit is more important than the amount in the beginning. Once you build the habit of paying yourself first, of investing consistently, of avoiding the wealth destroyers I have described, the amounts will grow naturally over time. I believe in you. I believe that anyone watching this video has the potential to build real lasting wealth. It does not require a huge income. It does not require getting lucky. It does not require being a genius investor. It just requires discipline, patience, and the willingness to do what most people will not do. Stop buying the 5 things I have described. Start investing the difference. Wait patiently for compound interest to work its magic. That is the formula. It is simple. It is proven. It works. Now go execute it. Thank you for watching. If this video provided value, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you do not miss future content. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And most importantly, take action on what you have learned today. Your future wealth depends on it. I will see you in the next video.